So this brings us to the promise that's also attached to this commandment. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read the entire commandment again, and then we're going to focus in on part of it. Again, the entire commandment says, "Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you." The promise in there, okay, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. This is the only commandment in the 10 Commandments that comes with an explicit promise. But what does this promise mean? Okay, so some have interpreted this as a promise of individual long life for those who honor their parents. While there's wisdom, I think, some wisdom in interpreting that promise in that regard. I mean, after all, if we were to respect our parents' decisions growing up and things like that, probably are going to keep us from harmful choices, hopefully. But I think that there's something deeper going on here. So when interpreting the Bible, understanding the context and the original audience it's incredibly important, right? So remember, God, he's speaking to Israel as a nation, right? The promise of long life then, it can't be tied to just you as an individual, but the promise of long life in the land is tied to their collective obedience to the covenant. As the theologian Peter Enns points out in his commentary, the promise is less about individual longevity, and it's more about stability and continuity for the nation as a whole. And so this sheds some light on things for today as well, right? Think of it this way. When children honor their parents, right, learning from their wisdom and carrying their values, if those values are biblical values, as they should be, if you're following the rest of these commandments, they should be, this is what creates a stable society. It ensures that the knowledge of God and his ways, that they're passed down from generation to generation. So this kind of society, grounded in respect for God-given authority and wisdom, is the kind of society that can endure, that can thrive, and that can have longevity. It's like God saying, okay, if you want to have a lasting presence in this land that I'm giving you, then start by honoring your parents. That's the foundation for a society that can stand the test of time. And since we're talking about context, this aspect of the promise that we're looking at here, it aligns with other parts of the Old Testament as well. For instance, in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 1 through 3, Moses, he actually connects obedience to God's command, which it would include honoring one's parents in this. But he associates it with long life, with prosperity in the land for the entire nation. And he says this, "Now this is the commandment, the statutes and the rules that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you may do them in the land to which you are going to possess it, that you may fear the Lord your God, you and your sons son, by keeping all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you all the days of your life, and that your days may be long. Hear therefore, O Israel, and be careful to do them, that it may go well with you, and that you may multiply greatly, as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you, in a land flowing with milk and honey." Again, this Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 1 through 3. So this passage, it clearly links obedience with God's commands to national prosperity, to national longevity. And so the promise that's attached to this fifth commandment then, it's not just about individual blessing, but it's about the well-being of the entire community. And then it serves, in that regard, it serves as the perfect bridge in the 10 Commandments between loving God and loving your neighbor.